whatever you wind up doing is exactly what you should be doing.
And I have not behaved one single day of my life. Not one day of my life have I behaved, and I am fine.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're going to hurt some people.
Whose car are we going to take?
All right, I'm back. Happy Merry Christmas, almost New Year. Thank you to everyone who has reached out over the long holiday weekend for myself and being back here. I missed you all so much. It was a much needed break, although I'll be sharing some stories throughout the show. Fortunately, illness has hit our household. My husband's been laid up. Christmas was not too fun for my husband, but I hope it was fun for all of you. And I appreciate y'all coming back here and giving me a couple of much needed days off to spend with family that was in town. We had quite a full household. So this is the Nikki Medoro Show, live Monday through Friday, although it's Tuesday today, starting at noon Pacific time. As always, please, when we start the show, click that thumbs up button. We love it. Smash it. Do whatever you want to it. You can, tickle it. You can just slowly push it, however you want to do it. Just do it. Click the thumbs up. And of course, a big thank you to our exclusive founding sponsor, Steve Moskowitz, AAA Tax Deal, MoskowitzLLP.com. He helps keep the show up and running, as do our Patreon subscribers. Now, if you haven't and you are a Patreon subscriber, there's a little special treat for you. It's only for members. It's only for people who subscribe every month to the Nikki Medoro Show. And so if you want to be part of the Cool Club, please consider being a monthly subscriber. Just go to the website, theNikkiMedoroShow.com. The Patreon link is there, as are links to episodes of our show that you can share with family and friends, and just ask them to subscribe. Super Chat is live. You can donate throughout the show, a couple dollars, a lot of dollars, whatever you want to choose. There's the Super Chat, Super Comments. We'll read them. We'll give you shout outs throughout the show. You can also now donate through PayPal. I know some people, you guys have been reaching out to me, like it. That way you have it on your phone, perhaps, so it's easy. The PayPal email is thenikkimedoroshow@gmail.com. So it's really, really simple. And hello, I see you all there on Facebook who are watching there. Whatever way we can make it easy, we like to. And then finally, before we get down into it, we do have merchandise for sale. We'll be adding more stuff into the new year. Hoodies are going to be a part of that. I know a lot of you want some hoodies with this very cold weather, although we're total wusses, right, in California compared to what they're experiencing across the country and other parts of the country, and we'll get to that. But if you want some merch, the Nikki Medoro Shop.com is a place to get all of that. I'll be sharing some pictures of some good friends who have bought some merchandise for us. So really appreciating all of that. And yeah, so let's get into it. I mean, you guys can tell me in the live chat, how was your Christmas? We had a great time. Again, my brother was in town with my sister-in-law and his kids, and it was awesome. I'll let you guys know that the Patreon kind of treat that I gave everybody was a sharing of a family recipe. And I want to show you this one picture, because this will just give you a taste of what people saw. So this was the very first time that my daughter, where is the picture? That my daughter was able to make this Christmas Eve meal. And we call it manigots. People call it manicotti, whatever way that you want to. And I guess it didn't upload. But anyways, well, I mean, I might be able to find it in the next. Maybe we'll find it when Kim's here. But she made it for the very first time, and it was amazing. And she did such a good time, just such a good job at doing it. And that's what I love about the holiday season, is doing all these things that I have time to do, which is cook with my mom and my kids, and my brother was in town. We were able to go visit and do some things outdoors. I was planning on going. It was so funny. I posted this YouTube short asking you, what should I do with the family when they're in town? We didn't do any of those things. We walked the neighborhoods and looked at the lights. We ended up going to Topgolf for the very first time. And that was a lot of fun. And it was just one of those things where you're trying to decide, do I want to do traditional Christmas things, look at lights, or do you just want to have fun, eat food, drink, cocktails or whatever you want to drink and have a good time? And we kind of chose the latter. And it was so much fun. If any of you have played Topgolf, this was our first time. I am not a golfer, but I think I did pretty damn well. So a bunch of family pictures will be coming up throughout this show. And if you have any pictures, again, in any merchandise that you have, please share it with us. You know what? I'll just show them right now. So one of our good friends over at Station X, Clark, he sent me this. He got the mug, which is a very popular one. I want to say that the mug has to be one of the more popular merchandise sales that we've had. And then my good friend, Liana, Mud, as we called her, got the Nikki Medoro show shirt. Absolutely love you, Mud. Thank you so much for supporting the show. So that's always good to see. Now I'm looking out my window. Yeah, it's still raining where I am. The weather was beautiful though for Christmas, wasn't it? I mean, it's so hard to see other states in this country going through what they're going through, and we don't. And so this meme was absolutely perfect, how California looks at the rest of the country as they freeze to death. But while the meme is funny, it is not funny what's going on right now. It is absolutely insane. So my sister lives in Kentucky. Let's see if I could find this. Here, this is the picture that she's just posted. So that's in Kentucky. They're seeing that. And I mean, when you really think about it, that's still nothing compared to some other things. Look at this picture of the deep freeze. I'm sure many of you have seen this picture. Here it is. I mean, look at that. And we see those, but all the time, obviously with the wind and the ice precipitation, it freezes like that. But who the hell wants to live in that? I don't understand. Honestly, I like living in California this time of year. I mean, you guys feel me, right? It's so nice to not have to deal with that. I mean, yeah, there's Tahoe and we have to be aware of it. We do have the storm that's hitting us now. But ABC had a winter report. Now, of course, Buffalo, New York is getting a lot of the attention right now. And it's really, really sad. Now, this is a ABC News winter report I'm going to play for you now. And it's just terrifying. Honestly, look at this picture. It is terrifying what people are experiencing right now. So let's listen to this right now. Oh, let me bring it up right now. Because when you think about what people are going through, it's funny to be like, oh, it's nice and warm here. The truth of the matter is people are losing their lives because of what's happening. People are experiencing a type of weather that they cannot survive in. And then when you combine it with the holiday season, people find themselves stranded on the road. So here's ABC News.
This weekend, the historic Arctic blast and winter storm sweeping across the country.
There is substantial, significant, and devastating loss of life as a result of this winter storm.
The city of Buffalo paralyzed after more than 3 feet of snow. For the first time in the city's history, the fire department not able to respond to calls.
Think about looking just a few feet in front of you at a sheet of white.
Roads blocked by vehicles stuck, rescuers even having trouble navigating the conditions. Thousands still without power and heat, drivers facing treacherous conditions across the country. This couple trapped on Interstate 71 in central Kentucky, spending Christmas in their car.
It's almost 12 hours.
Relying on the kindness of strangers for food.
We each got a water from the semi-truck driver and just the sandwich and a granola bar from him.
In Holland, Michigan, roads are littered with abandoned cars. In Illinois, several people were injured in this 8-vehicle crash.
This guy's literally so close to jackknife. Look.
And a 50-vehicle pileup, killing 4 in Ohio.
This is a stark reminder of what can happen when you get behind the wheel and try to drive in bad weather conditions.
It is so frightening. Look at some of these pictures. I mean, look at that snow. It is absolutely ridiculous. Now you see the snow plow. Let me bring that picture up again. Like, look at that snow plow. Just trying. I was reading an article that the rescuers had to be rescued. But then think about this. People are just abandoning their cars on the street. ABC's Mona Kosar Abdi was also talking.
The driving ban was supposed to be lifted at 7 a.m. this morning, but officials extended it for Buffalo and hard-hit areas because, as you mentioned, it is still snowing here for hours this morning. The snow is coming down. The wind right now is really picking up. And what that means is all this light, fluffy snow that came down overnight is being pushed back onto the roads. Now, snowplow drivers have been working around the clock to clear these roads, but a major problem that they're dealing with is that there are dozens and dozens of abandoned cars like the one behind me, just littered all over the county, blocking roads, blocking intersections, and so they have to navigate around that. We're being told that they're moving the abandoned cars to lots so that they can get through the area.
And it makes me wonder, I mean, they should be used to this, right? I mean, that's what a lot of people are saying. Like, are you used to this type of weather? Let me play you one more clip from Mona Komar Abdi talking about why this weather, why this year, why this actual storm is a bit different.
Buffalo and the Great Lakes region is very used to heavy snowfall, but the difference now were a combination of factors. It was the low temperature. It was the frozen precipitation. It was also the system bringing lake effect snow into the area and creating these blizzard-like conditions. So a combination of all those factors led to what New York Governor Kathy Hochul called the most devastating storm in the history of in Buffalo's history. And so we see now that the death toll is climbing. Just to put it in a perspective for you about how much of an impact that this has had on the city, the rescue efforts, as I mentioned, that rescuers weren't even able to get to those that needed help. And so some people just had to leave their cars in the middle of the road and just get out and start walking.
Yeah, so that's what they're dealing with. And then, of course, you know, the death toll, I think it's over 50 people so far. They're going to have to check these cars, these abandoned cars that are covered in snow. There might be people inside there, but they can't get to them. That is frightening. And then, of course, there are the travel delays. All right, you guys can let me know in the chats, and I'm already seeing a bunch of comments. I mean, how many of you have dealt with it, have family dealing with it? There was one, and it was kind of cruel. I don't know if it was ABC7 or one of the local stations was at, I think, San Jose Airport, and we were watching it on Christmas because my daughter had to fly yesterday. She was flying out with my brother back to Arizona to spend the week with her cousin and to ring in the new year. And so my brother's like, I don't know if we're getting out tomorrow because we're looking at these stories, and the reporter was actually filming this girl. She looked like she was she was a teenager being consoled by her mother, and she's just crying because they're spending Christmas at the airport. And so I looked at him, I'm like, well, are you flying Southwest? And he's like, no, we're flying American. I'm like, yeah, you probably have nothing to worry about. Now, many of you will remember when I was at Station X and I had gone to Mexico last summer, and I walked into the airport in Cabo, and there was a line out the door of the airport. And when you followed that line all the way to the front, it landed at one airline, and that was Southwest. So you guys tell me, do you think people are just done with Southwest Airlines? Because why was Southwest so popular? They were so popular because they let you have 2 bags for free. And I'll tell you, 2 free bags, when you're adding up all of these other costs and fees that airlines are imposing on people, is very attractive. But is it enough to put up with the BS that seems to really only happen at that level to Southwest Airlines? Now, Southwest has canceled more than 5,400 flights. And let's welcome Kim McAllister to the show. And I know, Kim, you've been following this in your news, of course. And Merry Christmas. I hope your holidays were good. I want to hear stories later on in the show. But Southwest, I think people are done. The only kind of airline credit card I have is with Southwest Airlines. Unless it's no weather problems and I'm staying in the country, I think I'm kind of done. I think until they figure it out, 2 free bags isn't enough to deal with the huge question mark of, am I going to be able to get on my flight, or are they going to cancel it? I know people I know posting on Christmas, can't get out of here. And it's again, Phoenix to San Jose. It's absolutely It's ridiculous.
I guess
And
the question I have is why Southwest? I mean, the weather affects every airline. So what's different about them? Why all the delays there? You
I am
know?
so glad that you asked that question, Kim McAllister, because there is a difference between Southwest and other airlines. So here's actually a local news report from ABC7 kind of talking about that exact same thing.
For weary Southwest passengers at Oakland International Airport, all signs pointed to a bad day.
It's never like this crowded. It's crazy.
After a 4-hour delay, Harriet Kingsbury did make it home to Oakland. She was one of the lucky ones.
It's just total pandemonium.
Mike Boland's flight to Phoenix canceled.
I could tell just as soon as I got out of the car when I was dropped off that there was an issue because there was a line that was snaking all the way out of Terminal 2 at Oakland Airport, which is primarily the Southwest terminal.
In its latest update, Southwest Airlines says it is working to recover from operational challenges following consecutive days of extreme winter weather. Captain Casey Murray is the president of Southwest Airlines Pilots Association and a captain at Southwest.
It's been catastrophic. It's been a failure at every level. Our processes, our IT, our infrastructure just wasn't there to support the operation. And unfortunately, our customers are bearing the brunt of it.
Unlike other airlines that use a hub and spoke system, Southwest often flies point to point.
We have pilots, we have flight attendants who don't have hotels, who they truly just don't know where they are.
Kingsbury says she heard that firsthand.
We don't have a crew. We don't have a crew.
Bonnie Shue's Bahamas vacation also canceled.
Luckily, I wasn't stranded in Austin. I think that would have been a worse situation.
Stranded passengers at Oakland had few options when it came to their bags.
There's announcements going on the loudspeaker that if your flight was canceled, it's going to be a 1.5 to 2.5 hour wait just to get your luggage off the canceled flight.
We just decided to leave her bag there and that we would pick it up later today when things calm down.
But it's not clear when that will be. Captain Murray says he expects this to go on for days.
This is going to continue until there is a sweeping change to the way Southwest operates.
Southwest Airlines says with safety first, it anticipates additional changes with an already reduced level of flights as we approach the New Year holiday. Writing in its statement, on the other side of this, we'll work to make things right for those we've let down, including our employees. Melanie Woodrow, ABC 7 News.
Yeah, and then they put out this message that you see on your screen right here. This was yesterday. They said, this is to employees, by the way. We are working to stabilize the network and have decided to zero out all lids on every flight from December 26th through December 30th until all cancellations have been processed and crew scheduling has enough crews to accommodate the remaining flights. This is intentional to protect customers from booking flights that may be canceled. For customers inquiring, check availability on basically New Year's Eve or later. Sorry for any inconvenience. Yeah.
Sorry. Our bad. So, we're sorry.
The truth is, Southwest has not done, at least all of the kind of airline experts have been saying that the way Southwest has been set up and what's happened since COVID is why they're seeing what they're seeing now. So there's this one article in theaircurrent.com. It said in 2020, 620 Southwest pilots took buyouts. While that should have left a sufficient number of pilots able to fly its 2021 schedule, around 25 of Southwest's roughly 150 simulator instructors accepted buyouts as well. That left many pilots on long-term leave, waiting for a training slot to return to currency. Now, the company's in the middle of hiring about 5,000 new employees by year end, and they're about 50% of the way there. CNBC reported crews are having trouble finding hotel accommodations, as you heard in that report. Another staffer said many pilots were on hold with crews scheduling for multiple hours, waiting for their marching orders. They don't know where they're going. That is ridiculous. That is a failure of the highest degree. Yeah. When you don't have your crew knowing where they're going, what they're doing, it's ridiculous. It is a total breakdown. And I really think, not that it's going to be the downfall of Southwest, but again, like I said at the beginning, I'm so happy that my daughter is not only flew American on the way there, but is flying it on the way home, because if she was on Southwest, I'd be terrified that she's going to be stranded. And even with, and a lid, by the way, that's a flight. That's a flight. That's the kind of the schedule. I'd be terrified, absolutely terrified that, especially because she's going to fly home alone, that what's going to happen? Is she going to be stuck on a plane? I heard horror stories, stuck on a plane for 5 hours, then the flight is canceled after they've been spending 5 hours on the flight. Now, LAX paint or lax paint, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like this happens practically every year. I don't think at the level that it is seen here. Obviously, weather delays happen, but the fact that it's Southwest only really seeing this level of cancellations means there is something fundamentally wrong with that airline. I would not fly with them until they figured it out.
Well, no, because
at
I
all.
guess you have to balance, like, okay, we all want a deal, right? So
Of course.
low cost versus actual trust that you're going to get what you're paying for,
Exactly.
right? And so if you don't have any confidence in their product, then it doesn't matter how cheap it is. You just don't want it,
Exactly.
right?
Well, it's like Spirit and Frontier, right? I mean, you can go really, really cheap. The second biggest cancellations was Spirit Airlines. Okay. So, but on that, I kind of understand. I mean, they cut corners. You should know when buying, like, beware. But Southwest prided itself on, great customer service, their funny flight attendants doing those, announcements. It was the fun airline. And not only was it fun, it was cheaper and you got to bring your bags for free. That's not going to be enough. It's just not going to be enough. Okay, so what do you do? So Johnny Jet does this website. He does this blog about airlines. So if you need to be somewhere and your flight is canceled, don't sit around. The minute that there's any problem, you need to start hopping on, because one of my friends was posting that the website was down, the phone lines for Southwest were down. You could not get through. If you can't get a ride, obviously, get a comfortable place to sleep, and it's likely going to be far from the airport, because those ones are probably first taken by flight attendants, because they're going to need to be back at the airport ASAP, and second, the people that hopped on before you. So if you can't get a ride, keep all your receipts if you're going to stay somewhere for food, lodging, and new clothes. If the airline because they may have misplaced your luggage. According to Southwest travel disruption page, quote, if you have been impacted by a flight cancellation or flight delay between Christmas Eve and January 2nd, you can submit receipts to be compensated. We will honor reasonable requests, but what's reasonable, right? If the only hotel that has any space is more expensive than the, economy hotel or motel down the street from the airport, is that on you or is that on them? If you can, also book your travel with a travel agent, because then they're in charge and they take over getting a hold of the airlines. Don't book a ticket on an airline that won't put you on another carrier. So that's also important. That should be in the fine print. Buy tickets with a credit card and get a charge back if the airline cancels your flight and you can't get through to them. You can also buy the travel insurance. And I don't know how many people are going to be able to do this during the holidays, but they say, don't check a bag, because in that report there, I mean, how many people's bags were just lined up? And they're saying, it'll be hours before you're going to get your bag. What the hell? I mean, it's a problem compounding another problem. Now, here's one more travel hack. Again, this is Johnny Jet. Now, I don't know how many people could possibly do this, but as last resort, this is also what you could do.
If you really need to be somewhere and you want to get back, I recommend buying a backup ticket 3 hours after your original ticket or even the next day. And if you need to connect somewhere, make sure it's out of a different airport or a different region. So that way, let's say you're flying American to Connecticut via Dallas. If there's bad weather in Dallas, or if American Airlines is having problems, book your return on United through Chicago or Delta through Atlanta or Detroit. Just mix it up, but make sure that ticket's refundable. That way, if you don't have a problem, you can cancel it and you can use that credit towards another flight within a year.
Yeah, and I'm seeing some comments like Vilma writes in, American Airlines has one of the most luggage loss numbers, I would assume. Yeah, there's downfalls, but as long as I can get there. I mean, I've told this story many times. I mean, Southwest because of all the bonuses with the check bags and the cheaper airfare, they're going to be feeling this more acutely, I would say, than anywhere else. But I'm not going to fly Southwest, especially not during the holidays. I'll never, ever fly them again internationally. And I guess I'll just have to check the bags. I mean, it's just one of those things where, or pay for or check bags on another airline because, I mean, yes, every airline has bad numbers in some aspect, but as long as I can get somewhere and I'm not facing these types of problems, this is a public relations nightmare.
Yeah, it really is.
Daniela writes in, not going to risk my 850 a night hotel room, canceling our whole trip for this weekend. Sad, but I don't need the hassle. Are you? So I'm assuming, Daniela, you're on Southwest, or you just the holiday travel, you don't want to deal with it. $850 a night hotel room. Wow.
That's
I mean,
fancy.
that sounds like a big trip that you were planning on taking. How many people were going to Hawaii, right? Or some tropical destination? A lot of people were flying into places where the weather's terrible. So you can kind of understand what's going on there. But yeah, that's disappointing. Traveling for the holidays. I mean, my brother travels here and I usually go to Arizona simply because it's closer and it's not too bad. But driving seems a lot more attractive than flying if you can make it happen in a reasonable amount of time. I mean, it's really sad to say, but Ryan writes in, my friend's been stranded in Vegas flying back to California, but Southwest has kept them stranded in Vegas for 3 days. Why? The only thing I could tell you is the plane that they're supposed to be on is stuck somewhere else, right? So that's the problem. Is they don't have these hub and spoke type of things. It's basically point to point has their own individual problem. So
I was reading someone on Facebook was stranded in Kauai for an extra 2 days, and she goes, "You think it's a good problem to have, but it's really expensive. We're having to find places to stay and everything else." So
yeah, I mean, and it's also not what you want to do on your holiday. Maybe you have to be back at work. I mean, think of all of these things. You had a trip planned with certain days. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how I would not want to be on the Southwest PR team. That's all I'm saying. All right. So Kim's news is coming up afterwards. I'll share some holiday pictures. We had a great Christmas weekend. I was able to go to the Niner game, which was a surprise. So I'll tell you that story coming up. I'll also share some pictures from our family adventure to Topgolf. Was able to watch some movies. Yeah, we went to Topgolf and that's fun. So I'll share you some pictures there. Was able to watch some movies. You guys tell me in the comments, what did you watch over the holiday weekend? Were there any hit and misses? Because there was one movie that I was really looking forward to seeing with the adults over the holiday weekend that was very disappointing. And it's okay. I finally got something for Christmas as a gift that I'm so loving. And I should have purchased way earlier because it was recommended by one of our viewers. So I'll talk about that. And then we'll talk about returning gifts because it's not going to be as easy this year and probably moving forward as it has been in past years. And I'll explain why in just a moment after Kim's news, because I know a lot of you, what are you doing with those gifts that you didn't really want? Are you returning a lot of them? I have a funny story about my sister-in-law and my mother's conversation over a couple of gifts for the kids. So, and let me know what you're keeping, what you're returning. Do you do those sorts of things? But first, let's take a look at some headlines.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
And this report is sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz at 888 Tax Deal. And as Nikki mentioned, just about every Southwest Airlines flight, it seems, almost every airlines except Southwest, rather, is back to normal operations after a brutal winter storm. According to FlightAware, nearly 90% of today's cancellations belong to Southwest Airlines. The Biden administration now looking into the meltdown after thousands of complaints from stranded holiday travelers. There is a tent city going up at the border in Texas. This is a massive tent city in West Texas. Border Patrol preparing for another expected surge of illegal immigrants. The Biden administration has been fighting to end a public health rule, which has been used to expedite deportations, but it's caught up in the courts. If Title 42 goes away, officials predict up to 5,000 asylum seekers will cross every day near El Paso, hence the tent city. And some news about Obamacare. Now we call it the Affordable Care Act, right? It's a record number of Americans now signing up for health insurance through the Affordable Care Act. The White House says nearly 11.5 million Americans signed up for insurance on healthcare.gov from November 1st through December 15th. President Biden credits the cost-saving measures in the Inflation Reduction Act for helping drive that huge increase. Here's a fine-looking fellow. There you go. He's the accused ringleader of the group who plotted to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. He's being sentenced now to 16 years in prison. Adam Fox convicted in August in a 2020 plot to abduct the Democratic governor over her COVID restrictions. A federal judge ruled against the prosecution's push for a life sentence. Again, 16 years in prison for Adam Fox. Bye-bye. Rainy day here in San Francisco. A bulk of the latest storm moving out of the Bay Area now, but heavy rains flooded a lot of our streets around the Bay Area this morning. Officials say the flooding was reported in every Bay Area county. It caused toppled trees and stalled vehicles. In Sonoma County, Highway 121 closed until late this afternoon in the Sonoma area because of a large lake that has formed in that area. The National Weather Service is reporting 2 to up to 4 inches of rainfall in hills and inland valleys. Forecasters say after a break tomorrow, the 9-county region will get more rain Thursday into Sunday as well. And another story for you. Got this one as well. The movie Babylon. It looks like it's a big flop, unfortunately. The Margot Robbie-led film opened over the 4-day holiday weekend with a little more than $5 million being taken in at the box office. Damien Chazelle's look at Hollywood's early days, which also stars Brad Pitt, had a budget of at least $80 million, making it very unlikely to break even in theaters, unfortunately. And there is some new elements that we have. Scientists trying to identify 2 minerals never seen before on Earth from a 15-ton meteorite. This space rock became the 9th largest of its kind ever found after crashing in Somalia in 2020. The new minerals discovered in a 2.5-ounce sample investigated by scientists at the University of Alberta in Canada. We'll see if I can get the names right. The new minerals were named Ellalite and Elkinstantonite. Said it after the location where the meteorite was discovered, and the vice president of Arizona State's University Interplanetary Initiative, respectively. So the so-called El Ali meteorite the samples came from appears to have been sent to China in search of a buyer, so they're selling it off. This report, sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz. For more than 30 years, Steve has brought his tax knowledge to work for individuals and for businesses. If you need help with your taxes, Steve's the one to call. It's 888-TAX-DEAL. It's also MoskowitzLLP.com. I'm Kim McAllister on The Nikki Medoro Show.
Thank you, Kim. I was trying to, as you were talking, bring up these fun pictures. I want to thank everybody that reached out during the holiday weekend, was purchasing merchandise, which you guys can do. Just go to thenikkimedoroshop.com. thenikkimedoroshop.com. You can get some of this merchandise. I have plans to add more to the shop after the new year. It takes a little time to design it and get it all on the website because I'm not quite, but I'm going to do that for you guys. Let me show some pictures again, Kim, because I don't think that you were here. You were on yet. Look who bought a t-shirt, Kim. Oh,
I love her.
I know. That's our friend
Look
Liana.
at Mud.
I know.
Yeah.
We know her by Mud. So she bought one. Clark Reed, our good friend Clark, also purchased a mug.
Clark.
I
Nice.
know. So those are just some of our friends that were purchasing. And send the
That's
pictures
cool.
in. please send them in. We'll show them on the show. It's so much fun.
We
Also,
appreciate the support so
exactly,
much.
exactly. Something free you can do though right now is click the thumbs up button. We have to remind you guys, smash that button. Or, massage it, tickle it, whatever way you want to do it. It's fine. And then, of course, become a Patreon subscriber. You can find the link at the NikkiMedoro.show.com. And it's a great way to support the show. And you can just send us PayPal through the email, the NikkiMedoro@gmail.com. And we really appreciate all of you.
Yeah. If you like the pictures during news, that's something new I started to do while you were on taking a Christmas break.
There you go.
You like that? Or you think
I
that's
love
weird?
it.
Okay.
I think it's great. I mean, it's a very visual medium we're on now, Kim McAllister. So it's great. Okay, let me show some pictures. All right. So my holiday was so much fun. Well, I wanted to do an experience with my family. That's what I like to do as my gift, because otherwise I'll put some cash in a card for the kids. The adults will get nothing, or we'll just do the white elephant gift, which was fun, I will admit. But again, it's just one of those, it's one of those things where I want to do something fun. Oh, I'm having issues with my overlays today. So we went to the Niner game, and I'm trying to find my pictures of the Niner game, and it's not showing up. But anyway, so I took my family to Topgolf. And if you have not been to Topgolf, it is so much fun. I don't play golf, but I did pretty damn good, I will have to say. So let's see if this will.
Is it a mini golf place or what
Not
do we have there?
Well, okay. So what it is, and I know that they just opened up one in the South Bay, and so what you do is it's an open bay. So like it's open, and then it's like if you go shoot some balls, is that what you call it? Hit some balls at a driving range like that. But there's these circles that you have to try to get your ball into in order to score some points. Oh, there we go. That's Topgolf. And so I don't know if that's my picture. That's not my picture. So I wanted to show you a picture of all of us playing. Actually, I wanted to show you a picture of me winning. I did pretty good with the driver. I did not do very good with the putting. So there's some closer, there's some far away. You could play an Angry Birds game. You could play all sorts of games, and it's a lot of fun.
So you're supposed to hit them into these circles that we're seeing here?
And that's what, and so, see the green one, and then there's a closer one, and they have all these different drivers. They have a really cool thing that automatically shoots out the ball. It is a ton of fun. They have some good food. We had to get 2 bays because there was 10 of us that did it at one time. And so, it was so much. I highly recommend it. It's a little pricey, and depending on when you want to go, sometimes they're all booked up for the day. So it's not one of those things where, I want to go to Topgolf on a Saturday night or something. You might not be able to get a reservation. You might. It depends on the day. But I booked this ahead of time, and it was so much fun. Would it be good on a rainy day? I mean, you're kind of outside. There's an overhang, but it's open. It might be a little chilly. And if it's windy, you'll get wet. I would choose it on. We went at night. We went at like 5:30. So it was already getting dark. But it was still pretty nice. And I highly recommend it. Yes, there is still Golfland on Blossom Hill Road. It needs a facelift. I'll tell you that. My son went to a birthday party there. I want to say maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, and it's okay. It just needs a little paint job. The the indoor video game area needs to be kind of spruced up a bit, but Golfland's still there. I suck at mini golf. I'm not one of those that can putt really well. I just whack it, keep my fingers crossed, and hope it goes in the hole. So that's me. But it was really, really fun. We walked the neighborhoods. We saw some lights. My neighborhood was on the news for the Christmas lights, which was really, really cool. And so, we did a lot. We made our family's money goat recipe, which Patreon subscribers, you can see the whole recipe. I made a special video for everyone that subscribes to our Patreon account. And so that's up. Now it says I made it on TikTok, but it's not public on my TikTok page. I made it private. So only my Patreon subscribers can see it. It's a great recipe. So if any of you make it, please let me know, because I'd love to see if it worked for you. And if you if you made it correctly, as I was telling you in some of those videos. And then because we went to Topgolf, my brother decided to take myself, my husband, and his wife and son to the 49er game on Christmas Eve. Now, my husband and I had been talking about this for a while, and I was like, there is no way our parents are going to say it's okay to go to a 49er game, even though it was a daytime game, so it wasn't at dinner time. But we had church, we had all these things we had to do. And so we're at Topgolf, and maybe it was just the joy of being there and doing something. But my brother brings it up in front of my dad. My dad's like, yeah, go. And I was like, are you sure? Thankfully, my mother was not standing there, or I think it would have been a no. But yeah, he just hopped on and bought us gifts as our Christmas present. And so we went to the Niner game, and what a game to be at. It was so much fun. You know what I found though, and just kind of touching on, the weather that some other parts of the country are seeing.
Right.
On Jumbotron, every time they showed something, they like superimposed snow. And I was like, dude, there's no snow here. Let's just show the sunshine, because it was literally, we were on the
people everywhere else need to see that, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
this is why we pay the sunshine
Right.
tax, Kim. That's why, real estate is so damn expensive over here, is because on December 24th, I forgot my sunblock and was worried I was going to get a sunburn, while other parts of the country were just, under all of that snow and ice. So, yeah, our friend Kim was there. Although, and Kim's
Different
right down
Kim?
the street. Yes, our other Kim,
Yeah.
Kim Schaffer was there.
Yeah.
And Kim, I'm jealous of you because she had on the field passes.
Oh.
So Miss Fancy over here. Although, Kim, I had you beat with getting out of that stadium. So Kim had some car trouble waiting to get out of Levi Stadium. The only way, if anyone goes to Levi Stadium, the only way to go, weather permitting, is to ride your bicycle in. So we parked like less than 2 miles away, which is nothing on a bike. It's like a 10-minute bike ride. And there's a trail. You don't even have to deal with traffic. You just get on the trail. It leads you right into the stadium. They actually check your tickets before you hop on the trail because it leads directly there. There's a bike valet that costs absolutely nothing. And then as everyone's trying to get their car out of the stadium, we left, the game ended. We were probably walking to our bike around 4:30. We made 5 o'clock mass. We were a little late. It was about 5:15, 5:20. So we rode our bike, got the bikes loaded up, drove home, changed our clothes, and made it to church. And I think
Wow.
Kim was still probably in the parking lot.
The
So I'm telling
battery
you, listen
died,
to me.
yeah.
I know as riding a bike is probably like, what? I am telling you, get a bike with a basket. You can put your jackets or whatever in there. That is the only
So here's the
way
question.
to go. Uh-huh.
You think at a game like that, theft is rampant, right?
Mhm.
So do you have a high risk of getting your bike ripped off? Are there bike thieves patrolling?
No, there's a bike valet. You have to turn in a ticket. There's somebody there watching your bike the whole time. And it's
Okay.
awesome. We've done it several times, and it is the only way to go to Levi Stadium. There are plenty of places right near the trail where you can park
Yeah.
and just ride your bike in. So, Kim, next time you get all fancy schmancy and go to the game, take your bicycle. And believe me,
your
my
bike.
sister-in-law is not one to ride a bike. She's like, I can't even remember the last time we rode a bike, but I'm telling you, she was like, I can't believe we're doing this. It is completely worth it. And it was a great time had by all. Okay. So what movies, did you see any movies this holiday weekend, Kim?
We've had a lot of movies on, but we started watching a series.
Okay,
Well,
which one?
a family series called Just Add Magic. And it's
Oh,
some
no, I've never heard of it.
random kids series. I think it's on Amazon Prime that we clicked on, and now my kids are addicted to it. So we're
Okay.
watching that. And this is my favorite kind. Like I told you, I recently finished watching Game of Thrones. So I made it through all 8 seasons.
Oh, you're done.
I'm done. It's very
Wow.
the story was interesting, but the violence I felt was gratuitous. There was no need for that. Like they treat human beings like, meat sacks to be
Look at
stabbed
Kim
and
with the
spliced.
heart watching Game of Thrones. It is literally what it is all about. Yes.
However,
Uh-huh.
the kind of series and movies that I like are all the political thrillers. And I don't know if you've seen the series Jack Ryan.
Oh, I watched the first season. And then I stopped watching
The
it.
third season just came out, and that is
Okay.
excellent. So I
Oh,
just
is it?
finished watching that by myself at night. So yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. So let's see. We at my parents' house after the kids had gone to bed, and I mentioned this movie to you guys. I watched Violent Night to go off
How was it? Did you
to
like it?
counter Kim. It was violent. Okay. I'm not saying it's not. It took a while to get to the violence if you want to be like the real gratuitous
Right.
violence that I seem to love so much. The story just was kind of blah. I don't know. It was trying to have a heart, which it kind of did, but then
Yeah.
I don't know, it was kind of boring. I looked at my brother. I was like, this wasn't that good.
No.
And then last night, so my daughter, I shared this, she's in Arizona this week with her cousin. Now, her and her cousin are like almost the same age. They're girls. Her brother, my nephew, is a bit older. And so my son and his cousin, they hang out, but it's not the same type of relationship. And so my son's home this week. And so I think he's sleeping still because he's always in this room with me. But I'm trying to do something special with him all week, something fun because he doesn't get to go on a trip like my daughter.
Sure.
Well, last night was the first night that she was gone. I was like, let's go to the movies. What do you want to see? And so I was thinking we would finally go see the new Black Panther because he got a Black Panther Lego set to put together. And then he actually got a stuffed Black Panther. That's a long ass movie. And I think it's streaming on pay-per-view now. So I was like, we could just watch it at home and pause it and pee. So we decided to go see the new Puss in Boots.
I heard it was amazing.
So good. I am telling you, it was sweet. It was fun. It was action packed. There was no gratuitous killing, Kim. So yeah, I highly recommend it. 2 thumbs up. It was a very well done animation movie, and it's from the Shrek series. So it was very, very good. Oh, Mike went to go see Avatar. I have zero desire to see that movie. I would have to bring myself, and there had to be nothing else on for me to sit through that movie. I don't. And I think, what movie were you talking about during your news? Oh, the Babylon. I wanted to see that movie, and now I'm reading the reviews, and apparently it's not very good. So again, another movie that I'll have to wait till it's streaming.
$80 million to make and took in $5 million.
Yeah, that's not good. I mean, it has a big cast. I mean, Margot Robbie, Tobey Maguire, Brad Pitt. I mean, there's so many people in that movie that, yeah. Oh my God, I didn't know this. Eric says it's 3 hours and 9 minutes. Listen, movie makers, you, I think, are falling in love with your film, and you need to edit. You need to edit. Did you know that James Cameron someone else was mentioning Avatar? Yeah. The Way with Water, 3 hours, 12 minutes. Apparently it could have been 10 minutes longer. Did you see this? They cut out 10 minutes of guns because he regrets all the fetishing of firearms in his past movies like Terminator and things like that. I mean, if you're making a kind of a gun film, that's, it is what it is. You should know what you're getting into. Does it need as many guns? Does it need another 10 minutes of gun action? No, James Cameron, it doesn't. So I just think that these directors are falling in love with their own scripts and everything like that. And it's not worth it.
See, I wonder if they're doing it differently because eventually all these movies will come out on, streaming, right? And will be available on our home television. And so I wonder if they're doing it differently because we're watching differently, we're binging on shows, we're able to handle longer things. So that means that, okay, so in the theater it's longer, but really they can cut less of the content because of the way we're watching it at home. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I don't think that James Cameron is making it 3 hours because he's thinking about us streaming it at home. I think James Cameron is making it 3 hours because James Cameron loves James Cameron movies. I think it's an ego thing. I think it's, it's going to be this epic thing that people aren't even going to notice that their ass is falling asleep in a movie theater where they have to pee and they can't pause it. No. We want a 2-hour movie. Puss in Boots was, I don't even think it was 2. It might have been 2 hours, but not really. I don't think so.
I think maybe the way if they do it like this and they have a movie over 3 hours, they need to bring back intermission.
That's what Mo's saying. He completely agrees with you.
Yeah, agree. Yes. Yeah.
I would say there's some, and I think an intermission would also help, concession stands, things like that. If you tell people, look, it's a long movie. we're going to have an intermission, and then maybe even give people something to do while the intermission's happening. If they don't need to get up and go pee, or when they come back, if it's a 10-minute intermission, have something on the screen, some sort of interactive thing about the movie, facts about the movie. So they're still being engaged, and yet they can still go to the bathroom and do what they need to do. But 3 hours, I will notice 3 hours. I notice when it's over 2 hours. You can't be going too far into that. Now, other things that I'm streaming at home, I just started, don't make fun of me, season 3 of Emily in Paris. Did you ever watch
that show? It's my guilty pleasure.
I
And the
know. It's
outfit,
such nonsense.
I love it. Love it.
And I'm not into fashion. It's just nonsense. It's just a nonsense show that I'm almost done with it. And I've watched all the seasons. Yeah, I think that the holidays are a good time to stay home, cuddle up, watch some nonsense on TV. But if you're going to go to the movies, try to keep it under 3 hours. Okay, so what was your kids' reaction to all their presents, Kim? Did they have a good Christmas?
Everyone was happy, and it sucks because I thought it was going to be not a very good Christmas for Julia, but I'm going to sneeze. Hold on for a sec.
She's going to sneeze and I'm going to itch my nose. It's the cold and flu season, people.
So I thought she was going to be sad because there were 0 surprises.
Oh, that's right. You told me that. That's right.
She's a kid that wants to pick. I mean, she's very picky on what she's going to wear.
Okay.
So she wants to pick out all of her clothes. And this is she's getting into the teenage years now. So that's what she wants.
Okay.
And there were very few surprises, but she was delighted.
Oh, good. Good.
Okay. And Jacob, my 8-year-old, also very happy. He wanted one of the Verizon Gizmo watches. You know what
I haven't heard of that. No, I have never heard of that.
So it's like a cell phone that you wear on a watch.
So it's like an Apple Watch?
You can only call 10 people can call you, and you can only call 10 people. You can text or call on your watch, and that's it. It's a kind of like a very limited cell phone situation. There's no phone to go with it. It's just the watch. And basically it's got GPS locator, so you can find, where your child is. Is the phone in the backpack? Did they walk off at school? Did they get kidnapped? Wherever. So you can locate your child, and they can call you after school, and say, where are you? Or I'm ready to be picked up, whatever it is. He really wanted that. So that's what he got. He was loving it. And he got some new Nintendo Switch games, which I've had to try to limit the Nintendo Switch going on. But
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all. And what about you?
I got a couple of sweaters from my mom.
So, that's nice. Yeah. That's nice. Yeah, I got this. I know you guys can't really see it. I got this heart necklace from my daughter.
Oh, that's pretty.
Which was really nice. So we do this whole half heart hand thing to each other whenever we're saying goodbye. So her getting me that was really awesome. My son got me because I told him I wanted to do something together as part of my gift. I'm a Lego person. I love building things. And so he got me a puzzle. And when you put it together, it says, I love you, Mom.
That's fun.
And then, guys, I got a pillow. So remember, I was having this whole issue that
Is it a Mark Thompson show pillow? No,
it's not a Mark Thompson. I finally got it. One of our viewers was recommending it to me. I think even at Station X, my husband purchased it for me. No, thank you, Nugget. And it's a pillow cube.
Oh,
have you heard of the pillow cube? Okay,
no, what is that?
Okay, so it's exactly. Oh, friggin' dog. 1 second. Let me yell at Nugget for.
I'd almost rather hear her yelling at Nugget, I think. I don't know. Uh-oh. Nugget's busted.
All right. Okay. Nugget, come here. Nobody wants to listen to you bark. Okay, so a pillow cube. Here, let me I wanted to show you the picture of it. It is literally, can you take care of the dog, please? Thank you.
You know what my kids got me? Nothing. Nothing. You didn't
get nothing. You nothing? Oh, see, I guilt trip my kids. I was like, you guys are getting me something. Okay, so here's a pillow cube. I'm going to do a total ad for them. That's it. That's the pillow cube. Okay. Now, okay, so it's like a square. So see, it's like the 90 degree. It's like a rectangle, really. And I'm going to tell you, I was nervous. It's an expensive damn pillow. I'm cheap, so I asked for it as a gift. So even though my husband got it for me. So it's like I paid for it myself.
It's still your money, right?
But it doesn't matter. So I open it and it comes like it's flat. It's like those mattresses that you get in the mail and you have to wait for it to kind of inflate. So usually sleep with 2 pillows. This was the only pillow I slept with. I think we got the smallest one because it's based on height.
Okay.
I like it. I really do.
Okay.
Now it's kind of like that memory foam feel, but it
Right.
holds up. It supports my neck. My neck did not hurt this morning, and it was the only pillow I slept with. I'm doing a free commercial for them right now. I don't care. It was a great pillow, and hopefully it'll last. We'll
So
see.
have we checked into who owns the Pillow Cube? Is it like the My Pillow guy? Do we like the My
Oh,
Pillow Cube people?
no, it's
Do we know?
definitely not the Mike Lindell guy. I don't know
No.
who owns it. You know what? I like the pillow. Maybe I'm just not going to scratch the surface of the company because you're always disappointed.
Then you don't want to have to send it back.
Yeah. So I got that. I got some Niner gear. I got a new purse. But no, I told my kids, you didn't tell your kids, like, you better buy me something.
No.
Oh, I told my kids. I was
no.
like, why?
I guess I don't feel like Christmas is for the moms. I feel like Christmas is for the kids.
BS.
I never feel like, I have no. It's
Why?
I don't
Look at
care.
this.
Like, it doesn't matter.
Bull. She's lying. See what you want to know what a lying face looks like? There it is. You would love it if your kids got you something. Yes?
Handmade would be nice.
That's what I tell them. Well,
Yeah.
when they were younger, but now that they get money, like when they do chores and they get money,
Yeah.
you better be putting some money aside. Like, and I'm not trying to be like selfish about it. Like, just it's part of Christmas. Like, you want gifts, you give gifts. And I will tell you this, Kim, and I'm not even lying. My son was more excited about seeing what people thought of the gifts that he bought them than he really was. And that's what I'm trying to teach him. Like, you put thought into something, even if it was handmade, I would take it. But you have to have something under the tree because that is not the whole meaning of Christmas, but it's teaching them of the joy of giving.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I don't think if you want something, you give something. I think that giving should be completely because you want to do it, not because you expect something in return.
Oh, no, that's absolutely true. But how do you teach your kids about shopping for people and putting the thought into it unless they practice? Do they get money? If they don't have money, then I get that, but
they have money and Julia gets an allowance. Yeah. And when there used to be a little shop at their elementary school, a Christmas shop, and they used to make a list and go buy things for everyone in the family. But since they changed schools, we haven't really done that. So maybe I'm remiss.
Well, you're not remiss. And I get what you're saying. I don't tell my kids, like, you have to get me something because I necessarily want something. But at the same time, I want them to put thought into something, right?
Sure.
It's like, okay, so, if it's not just me, what about your dad? All of these sorts of things. And so, yeah, I get it. And you're such a great mom. They should be buying you something.
You're so nice.
You're like, but this is a great piece of advice. Go buy something you want. You know what I mean?
I did. I bought myself a sweater that I really wanted.
Look at you, sweater lady over here. I swear to God. But yeah, the pillow cube, by the way, somebody was asking, it is made for side sleepers. And I'm a side sleeper.
Me
you can sleep on your back, of course, on it. That's not a big deal. But
maybe I need to buy a pillow cube. Maybe that's my gift to myself.
It's an expensive ass pillow. I'm telling you. I would never buy this pillow. You should. It's a Christmas gift to yourself.
$130.
I'm sure there's a deal though on it. I think that there's some sort of like.
That's no joke on that pillow.
No, it's not. So it's definitely a splurge, but at the same time, it's how much time do you spend sleeping in your bed? Okay.
And it's $130 is a small price to pay to not wake up with neck pain if it works.
Yeah. All right. When we come back, we'll continue this kind of conversation into not only the gifts you receive, but the gifts you return. NBC News, I'll play you a little bit of their report on this. It's not going to be easier for you to return all those things that you may not have wanted for Christmas. I'll have a funny story about the gift that my mom purchased all of the grandkids for Christmas and why my sister-in-law told her they're returning them. Like, just straight up said, we're returning these. So, and are you planning on returning something? What did you get for Christmas that you are definitely returning? It's okay. They're probably not listening. You can totally tell the truth. And then Amazon is being called out for its role in all of these returns and what that means for our environment. That's all coming up. But first, some news.
Now, from around the world to up your street. The Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
And this report is sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz at 888 Tax Deal. President Biden is promising to hold the airlines accountable. See if I can get the picture up here. There you go. Yep, there's good old Southwest Airlines. And the president on Twitter is urging Americans affected by cancellations to visit the Department of Transportation's website, see if they're entitled to compensation. The agency says it will be examining whether Southwest Airlines could have done more to prevent widespread flight cancellations the day after Christmas. So far today alone, Southwest has canceled nearly 2/3 of its flights. Trouble spots include Denver, Chicago Midway, and Las Vegas as well. Oh, this thanks to CBS for this picture, which I lifted from them. This is average holiday debt up 24% from last year. That according to new data out by LendingTree, putting the number at $1,550. Only about a third of Americans took on holiday debt, but it's the highest debt it has been since 2015. While record inflation seems to show signs of cooling, high costs coupled with rising interest rates make it more expensive to carry credit card debt. LendingTree also found 4 in 10 Americans who took on holiday debt expect it to take at least 5 months to pay it all off. That's up from 3 in 10 consumers just a year ago. And the judge is now assigned to the case in the FTX case. This is judge assigned to the case against former President Trump will now be overseeing the criminal case against the embattled co-founder of FTX. U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan replaces Ronnie Abrams after she recused herself from the case against Sam Bankman-Fried on Friday. Abrams' husband is a partner at a law firm that advised the cryptocurrency exchange in 2021. So Kaplan is currently overseeing 2 civil lawsuits against Trump and also oversaw a sexual abuse lawsuit filed against Prince Andrew. Bankman-Fried is accused of causing FTX to lose billions of dollars. Not sure if you've been following the story about Twitter. The latest update rolled out a new view count feature, which some users say they don't really like it. The feature shows how many times a post has been viewed, while that information used to only be available to the account holder. Now it can be seen by everyone. Twitter CEO Elon Musk said the social media company will add a setting to turn it off, but he says he thinks that everyone is really going to grow to like this whole thing. We'll see how that goes. Look at these guys. Here's the celebrities that are now driving a new bail group. Apparently, this celebrity-driven bail group is shutting down for now after being sued for helping release someone who allegedly shot a waiter. Reports say the Bail Project, whose supporters include Danny Glover, John Legend, and Richard Branson, is currently restructuring its whole operation. This after a suspect was released courtesy of the group after they paid his $3,000 bail. Shortly afterward, the newly freed man allegedly opened fire in a Las Vegas restaurant, shooting a waiter. That victim is now suing the Bail Project. And we have now the Mega Millions jackpot up to 565 million smackaroos.
565 million. Which one is this? The Mega Millions?
This is the Mega Millions drawing that happens tonight. The cash prize for that would be about 294 mil.
Oh, is that it? I don't know if that's worth buying.
Is that worth playing? I don't know. The prize has grown so large because it's been more than 3 months since anyone has matched all 6 numbers. And of course, the odds of winning extraordinarily low.
There's always one, though. There's always one.
Can't win if you don't play. And lastly, Google is out with its annual year in search list. And there is one thing noticeably absent this year: COVID. Not among the top searches, if you can believe that.
Really?
Yeah. Instead, people were busy searching for a lot of things pertaining to workouts and how to handle stress. Instead, looks like another topic that was among the most searched, the new addition to the list, 988, and that is the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline number. So people were looking out how to handle stress, but I guess we all have all the information we need about COVID. That's enough.
Yeah,
We're done.
pretty much, I guess.
This report sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz. For more than 30 years, Steve has put his tax knowledge to work for individuals and for businesses. You can call Steve at 888-TAX-DEAL, and you can find him on the internet at moskowitzllp.com. I'm Kim McAllister on The Nikki Medoro Show.
All right, thanks for joining us for the second hour of the Nikki Medoro Show. Click that thumbs up button, please. We love it when you do that. It helps us out, and we absolutely love all the help that everyone gives us. You can see the merchandise behind my shoulder, actually the Nikki Necks, as I'm trying to get in the habit of mentioning. If you want to buy any of this, see the new merchandise when it is released as we head into the new year, just go to the NikkiMedoroShop.com. You see the website right there at the bottom. If you'd like to really help the show and make sure that we continue on in 2023, please consider donating to our Patreon. Become a monthly Patreon subscriber. The website to do that is thenikkimedoroshow.com. There's a Patreon link right there. You'll get exclusive videos. I posted one over Christmas of our family money goat recipe, which is delicious. If you try it out, please let me know. It's very simple, and we kind of give a step-by-step. You'll see some members of my family making it. So if you're a monthly Patreon subscriber, you get things like that. Our PayPal donation website is thenikkimedoroshow@gmail.com. You can help support the show there as well. All right, I want to continue our conversation about gifts. Somebody in the comments was asking, and I do need to update this. Here we go. How did the white elephant go? Okay, so we did a white elephant exchange with the adults in my family, and it went really well. It was actually pretty funny. Okay, so you want to see what I purchased? So I wrap it. My friggin' sister-in-law, who I adore, I love her to death. I bring it over all wrapped, and she's like, "Oh, well, that's a blanket in a book," and it was. It was like one of those, wrapped blankets. So it was like circle, and then I had a book on top, and then I made it look like a Tootsie Roll kind of thing, if you can imagine.
Yeah.
So it was a blanket in a book, but the blanket was just to get me up to the $30. I was like, you can cozy up and read this book. This is the book that I bought. It's called Scared S-Less. 103 Facts That Will Scare the S Out of You. And it's really interesting. So my son and I were walking, we were downtown Campbell. And I needed to still get my white elephant gift, and I just couldn't find it. And we found this cute little shop, and forgive me, I don't remember the name of it. And it's one of those places that have eclectic things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Socks, and it's one of those types of stores.
Kitschy little stores.
Kitschy stuff, water. I mean, really cool things, but stuff you're not going to find at Target, right? Necessarily. Yeah. I mean, you might find this book, but I ended up picking up this book, and I just kept reading it. And there's the book. And so finally I was like, well, if I'm standing in the middle of the store and taking 5 minutes and reading all these facts that'll scare the S out of me, I think somebody else will enjoy it. And I wanted to find something that both men and women would like.
What's the best fact in the book? One of the ones that stands out. Nothing?
I mean, I can't remember one right now. I mean, there's no, you're putting me on the spot and I can't. Hold on. Let me see. I think I could probably bring it up on Amazon. And then they'll have some examples. Hold on. Let me see. I don't know. Of course, it doesn't want to give me anything.
That's all right. I'll just take it for your word that it's a good
really,
book.
really funny. It's really funny. And so, yes, it's useless information, but it's fascinating because they're true. They're facts. There was a book that at Station X, we had the author actually come on. And it was all these ways you could die. Like that happens and then you die. It was really awesome. And so I got that. It went over well. But my mom, I think, wins for the best trick. So she purchased, and it was so funny because my sister-in-law is the one that got the gift. And she didn't even think about it. But she got one of those gag boxes. And like my sister-in-law opened the gag, like the wrapping paper, and just looked at the gag box, and no one's thinking like that's not what's inside of it. And it was a water, a watering, the funnels that you could put in your plants that'll keep it watered, but it was a urinal. And so apparently, according to the box, you could switch your pee into water that would be beneficial to your plants. No one questioned it. Like, I don't know if we were drinking too much, but nobody questioned it. And what was inside
Was
of
your
it?
mom just cackling in the corner that you guys were
Oh,
buying
yeah.
it
But then
to?
I was like, well, you should have said something while we were all swapping it around. But yeah, so, and then my father-in-law, I think one for the coolest gift. And I think some of you may have seen it on Facebook. It's a moon that glows. It's like a moonlight. And and when you tap it, it changes colors.
My kids got
really
those.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think actually James won that. Yeah, James won that. So I won that. Yay. What did I get? That's so funny that I don't. Oh, my father-in-law also bought this wine puzzle. So you put a wine bottle in it, and then you have to figure out the puzzle to get the wine out. Well, I figured it out enough. I didn't figure out the whole thing, but I figured it out enough to get the wine bottle out.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
Yeah. And then we did play left, right, center, which was a hit, except for the fact that we played 2 rounds. And it was about $27 that somebody would win. And my nephew won it both times. So after that, we're like, we're done. You're winning way too much of our money. So yeah, but we had a really good time. It was a great kind of holiday. But again, the gifts were not necessarily what everybody wanted. So funny story. My mom texted me before Christmas. Let me see if I could find the text. Because this is, kind of my mom. I adore her to death. But sometimes when I'm communicating, especially through text with her, I'm not really grasping what she means. So she sends me this text. But basically, I can't find it. Okay, so this is what here it is. I found it. Okay, this is what she texts me. Ready? Apple Watch, charger, etc. with other features. What do you think for the kids' gifts? So I was like,
do they have Apple Watches?
I write back to her. I go, they don't have an Apple Watch. And she's like, great. I was thinking about ordering them both one. It's the watch and it's also a charger. So they could charge their phones, etc. So I think it's a good idea. I'm going to go ahead and order it. Now, what do you think my mom purchased the kids?
She purchased them chargers for an item they don't have.
That's what she did.
Yeah.
So I said, okay. And then I write her back because I'm still confused because she said, I was thinking about ordering them both one when I said they don't have an Apple Watch. And I said, it's really an expensive gift, Mama.
She probably got confused on the website and thought she was buying an Apple Watch and didn't realize that's not an Apple Watch price.
Right. And so I was like, are you sure you want to buy them an Apple Watch? She's like, it's $45. Ding, not an Apple Watch.
No.
That is their main gift. It's a charger watch. I thought with all their electronics, it'd be a good gift. So you're right. It's a charger that does charge phones, like a traveling charger, but it's mainly for the Apple Watch.
But even if you don't have an Apple Watch, you could still use it.
Right.
Okay.
And so my mom gives the gifts to all the kids. And my sister-in-law, now I was not there for this conversation because we came later. She's like, no, we're returning that. You're returning that. And it's way too much because you can buy portable chargers for phones only for way cheaper than $45. And so my sister-in-law's, being nice. And so my brother and I are just sitting there. And my brother and I could be twins. Our minds are just so, and we're like, so you're basically making the kids return the gift that grandma got them, like for no reason. Like, let them just take it, But my sister-in-law had a great point. We could switch it for something else for $45 that the kids will actually use because they actually have other types of chargers for their phones. So what do you think? You think that?
Here's what my kids would have thought.
Okay.
If they had opened up an Apple Watch charger, they would have looked at each other and done a happy dance thinking an Apple Watch was on the way in.
Was on their way. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And my kids
where's that present? Look for that gift next under the tree, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, my kids kept it. I was like, you know what? Well, one, I'm not returning. I'm not going through the freaking hassle. And they opened it. So I was like, well, they're using it. My sister-in-law will return it and then the kids will get something else from grandma and thank grandma for it. And it's fine. But returns this year for a lot of things, including electronics, may not be as easy. I want to play you this NBC report because retailers do not want to make it easy for you.
Turning into the time for gift returning. Americans will return an estimated $171 billion in merchandise this holiday season.
You don't know if the person is going to really want what you were giving them.
Julie Frankie is a holiday returns regular, and getting the best value is a priority, especially when she plans to return a quarter of her purchases.
A quarter of her purchases?
Returning a sport for you, Julie?
I would say that, yes. Part of it is definitely a sport where I think I've excelled. And some of it can be stressful.
Stores flush with inventory and facing rising costs may not want that stuff back. An estimated 60% of retailers are changing policies, making returning items harder. More and more stores now charging for the service.
Wow. It's great to reach out to customer service, which you can do in store or online or via the phone, just to double, triple check and make sure that it's returnable.
For holiday purchases, many stores offer policies allowing shoppers to return as late as the end of January. But at Amazon, that only covers purchases made between October 11 and Christmas.
Think about that. Think about what they're saying right there. I mean, that's a good spread of a date, October to December. But, you know, some people, I know my mom used to do shopping like in July and put stuff away throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're one of those people, you might be screwed by, and a lot of people are buying stuff on Amazon.
A period 2 weeks shorter than last year. Best Buy's purchase window for returns is also shorter this year by about a week.
Generally, we've seen that electronics have a little bit stricter return windows compared to other regular items.
As you plan on a return or exchange, watch out for restocking fees. Return in person to avoid shipping costs, and see if registering for a loyalty program gives you more flexibility. And Julie's advice, don't give up.
If the person behind the counter can't help you, then you ask for a manager.
Be a Karen.
What happens with the manager?
Karen.
All right,
Stop
Brian
it.
joins us now live. So, Brian, we got...
Yeah, so I mean, it's interesting. I would not even deal with the hassle. I mean, a lot of times I'll just keep it, and if I don't want it, I'll save it as a regift. And just be like, well, maybe somebody else will want it, instead of going through all the, you know, the hoopla of returning something. But if you really don't like it and you're really not going to use it, you know, I would probably look into returning it.
So I have a friend who will buy stuff in multiple sizes, not sure, buy some extra presents and then return. She's very big on return. She's always returning something. Like she's always buying more than one, make sure which one, like order 5 dresses and try them all on and then send the rest back type of thing. So if there's a new fee for returning things, I mean, I think it could really affect the way some people shop. I'm more like, I'm not going to buy it unless I really know that I want it. And I'm not going to return it unless either there's something really wrong with it or it wasn't the quality I thought, you know, something like that. It has to be, there's a reason for me to return it. But a lot of people, I think, buy stuff knowing ahead of time, this is going, 4 of these of the 5 items are going back.
Well, and then you saw that October 11th through, you know, December, whatever, Christmas, for Amazon. That's enticing to me. I mean, even though, of course, you could buy things early and it wouldn't be in that window. I just returned, I needed an external hard drive for this show and saving all this stuff. I had to return it to Amazon because it came locked. And I was trying to figure out how to unlock it, and I'm just not that savvy. And I was like, screw it. I'll just go to Best Buy, buy one that I'm sure is not locked. I don't know if that's a thing. And I returned the one to Amazon. Easy peasy. I didn't need to even rewrap it, even though I had the boxes. I just put it back in because I didn't really use it. Amazon making it easier makes people want to use them more. But the new numbers are out from Oceana, and I think we've mentioned this before, that they estimate that the plastic waste created by Amazon has continued to skyrocket through 2021, jumping 18% from the year before. It generated 709 million pounds of plastic packaging last year. And that's up. Now, listen to the jump, though. That's up from 599 million pounds the year before, which is still a huge amount. And this includes those padded envelopes, the bubble wrap, the air pillows.
How many of those little bubble pockets did you pop on the way to throw them in the garbage?
I mean,
and
I have
you know
so
what
many.
really drives me crazy is when you order things and you click the box that says, you know, take longer, but send it all together so that there's less packaging and less boxes and whatnot.
Exactly.
And they still will send you like one item at a time in a big box, and it's rolling around in there. And you're not that there's a risk of it breaking, but it just seems so wasteful.
Yeah. And honestly, Celeste, I love this comment. We barely buy gifts, no returns. We enjoy our holiday doing things together instead. And that's why I like to go into Topgolf. You know what I mean? And my brother sent us the Niner game, which was awesome. I will remember both of those things, probably more than a lot of the gifts, and my kids and everybody more than the gifts that they got. And it's one of those experiences always leave the memory, right? Now gifts are cool, and I love my pillow cube and my necklace and my pajamas and my purse, and I like the stuff that I got, especially the sentimental stuff, the puzzle that my son gave me. I mean, all of those things I will definitely remember, but you don't have the waste to deal with, you don't have the returns to deal with, you don't have to sit in line and do any of those things, and that's better. I mean, it's definitely better for the environment. And thank you, Celeste, for ordering your white Medoro mug. Let me show the mug. My mother-in-law and father-in-law bought the white one too, so I got to see it in person. I have the black one. That is, it definitely is the top purchase. It's the top Nikki Knacks on the website. Absolutely. Oh, this is interesting. That just came through. I actually bought items from Etsy and messaged the sellers to find out what kind of packaging they use.
Okay.
Prior to buying. Okay. So, knit pearl. What kind of packaging do you want them to say? Is it all together? Is it no styrofoam? What is your list of things? Because it has to be sent. You don't want it to be broken. But I would say if it's a t-shirt, if it's something soft that can't be broken, I don't want to see the bubble wrap, right? I mean, it's not going to break. Why do you have to put plastic bubble wrap into something when we're being, we're drowning in the amount of plastic in this world? I mean, we talked about it, the oceans, the fishes, our bodies are filled with all these microplastics. We don't need any more plastic, and I don't need a t-shirt to have that kind of protection on it. It's just it's not necessary. Eric also is making a good point. The fact that fewer people are using brick and mortar stores anymore, can't try on stuff you buy online.
That's true.
Again, back to Amazon, and I don't know how new this is, but I know that if you buy clothes or certain items from Amazon, they do have the whole try it and you can return it type of thing. I mean, you can return a lot of things, but they're trying to kind of lead with that in the marketing that you can do. But I agree with you. I like to try on clothes, although I did that Stitch Fix for a long time. Yeah. But that's because I was able to put my dimensions into it, and they were pretty good with the pants, but I stopped doing that. I don't do any of that anymore. Marsha writes in, I saw a report that many returned items do not get put back in stock, but they get sold at high discount stores, so Ross, TJ Maxx, etc. That's true. That's absolutely true. That's where they get all of their stuff. Is if you wonder why an item that used to be at Macy's or Claiborne or Liz Claiborne or whatever, Claiborne, Dolores Claiborne, has those tags, but they're sold at Ross, it's because they were probably returned. My daughter wanted a bunch of Lululemon stuff, and you know how I feel about Lululemon, Kim.
That's what Julia got for Christmas, Lululemon, and I'm like, one pair of leggings, and that's Merry Christmas to you.
That's what I told her. So she had this list she sent me, and I did get her clothes, but they were from Brandy Melville. Have you heard of Brandy Melville? No. I never heard of it, but it was totally reasonable. Sweats, tank tops, in the kind of $20 to $30 range, which is reasonable to me. And she put a bunch of Lululemon stuff on her list, and I looked at her and I said, well, do you want anything else for Christmas? Because if I get you 2 leggings, you're done. I'm not spending that much money on all these other presents and then Lululemon. So I was telling my sister-in-law that, and she was telling me that she buys a lot of her Lululemon stuff off this Facebook group that does really well-made knockoffs.
Oh, wow.
And so she gets it for like a fraction. Now, the problem is, she tells me, is that you have to wait a while, and sometimes it's not readily available. So I was like, what, a couple of weeks? She's like, sometimes 2 months. But what costs $100 something, she can get for 30 or 40. So it's definitely more in the price range. And she says you can't tell the difference. So all that tells me is I'm not overspending for Lululemon, because knockoffs are just as good.
I don't know if it's the same, because
what's not the same? If
that's the thickness of that Lululemon. It says
apparently it's just as thick.
It's the softness, it's the pockets, it's everything.
It's their padded pockets, Kim. That's what you're feeling. It's their padded pockets of you overpaying for leggings. I can't do it. I mean, there's just things
I
I'll
know.
spend money on, and there's
It's
things that I won't
crazy.
spend money on.
Yeah.
And black leggings,
That
no
look the
friggin'
same.
way
Yeah.
that look the same. I mean, there better be a light on the logo to tell everybody that these are real Lululemons before I'm even spending any of that money on that. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I know that my mom always rags on me. It's well made. It will last a long time. Celeste buys excellent designer secondhand clothes. I send the stuff that doesn't fit to this. The seafood pantry. I don't think
That's
you mean
confusing
seafood.
to me.
I don't think seafood pantry is the word you're looking for, but it's fine. I'll get it. I'm assuming
get
you
it.
mean some other secondhand place, but I applaud all of you for doing that. Now, if you're going to spend your money on something and you're watching your money and you're trying to figure out how to spend your money, save on taxes, perhaps, there's only one person that you should call. And you know whose name I'm going to say. It's
I
the one
do.
and only Steve Moskowitz. Steve Moskowitz joins us now. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, Steve. And a big thank you to you for being a huge supporter of the show.
My pleasure. As you know, I've been your fan back to the time when you were doing the show with Chip, and I used to come in the studio live and in person from Station X.
Oh, yes, indeed. And there's been so many stories that you've told us that have helped so many people, that have told us and have told you that they've been helped. And as we head towards the end of the year, Steve, that has to give you the warm and fuzzies inside, doesn't it?
It gives me great personal satisfaction. Yeah. I remember one of the very first cases I did, and I always worked hard. And I remember when I was working in a big fancy firm whose clients were the Fortune 500, and I was working away, and one night it just hit me. So you know what? There's nothing I can do for a Fortune 500, good or bad, that's going to make a difference. Do I want to spend the rest of my career? It doesn't make a difference if I do a good job or even show up. I said no. So I stayed long enough to get some good experience, and I went out on my own. I remember one of the very first trials that I did. Gentleman that I was representing, he was very, very nervous, and he had his religious cards in his hand. And every few minutes he was telling me if I lost his case, that he would lose everything he worked for in a lifetime. His family was sitting right behind me in the peanut gallery, who, when he wasn't reminding me, they were reminding me.
So stressful.
You know what? That would have stressed anybody else.
Yeah.
But for me, it was exhilarating. I said, this is why I left the giant firm with the Fortune 500 clients. To this guy, I'm the pilot. I'm a single pilot flying his plane. I'm everything to him. I'm what stands between enjoying what he worked for in a lifetime and ruination. I found it very exhilarating, and the jury agreed with us that he didn't owe the money. We're very happy, and I was thrilled. And that was at the beginning of my career, many moons ago. Still to this day, when we help a client, I still get that visceral thrill. It's really important to me. This is my life, and I realize it's like when I started the practice and I was a professor at night in law school. I told the new lawyers, look, you got people's lives in your hands like a surgeon. This is a big deal, you know, and it is. Every case, I realize somebody's entrusting me with their life, their financial life, their family's life, and that's a big deal. Just like, you know, if God forbid I had to go under the knife of a surgeon, and you say you're trusting that man or woman to, you know, save your life physically. That's what I feel. I take this very seriously. And it's a big, these are people's lives, and it's a big deal.
Absolutely. Steve, let me ask you, I mean, okay, so it's December 27th. If there is one piece of advice for people to do right now, besides obviously call you, what should they be doing before that year switches over to 2023?
Talk to us about setting up a retirement account, a pension plan. And the beauty of this is, with most tax planning, you have to write the check by December 31st. And it's, you know, that time is very, very close now. So we wouldn't have time to start with somebody now for the year-end tax planning. But a beauty with the pensions is you have up to the time of filing the returns, including extension. So basically, we have about 3/4 of the way into 2023 to do the pension and still deduct it from 2022. Next, I would say, don't think there's nothing you can do. Talk to us, and whether it's for 22 or 23, people are amazed at what can be done. Because remember, our tax law has two purposes. Everybody knows the one, to take money from us. But the other one is, in a democracy, the government can't order us to do things, even if it's good for the economy and they want us to do it. So how does the government get you to do something they want you to do, but they can't order you? They pay you, and they pay you in the form of a tax incentive. And the tax law is full of those. That's how you see the Fortune 500, and why I went to law school to learn that stuff, making billions of dollars and legally not paying taxes. And I oftentimes ask, a new client, I say, so you think you make more or less than Apple Computer? Everybody laughs, oh, ha, ha, well, Apple Computer makes more than I do. I say, yeah, but you know what? They pay less tax than you do.
That's
because
crazy.
Tim Cook and his predecessors took real seriously their taxes. And he admits that a lot of time he spends as the head of Apple is dealing with Apple's tax lawyers. They have an army of people like me doing this stuff. If you're a small company, you don't need an army of people. Like my firm can go ahead. We want to help you, and we want you to have the same benefits that Apple and the other big boys have.
We love that about you, Steve, is you're going to help defend the little guys, not just, the Tim Cooks of the world. So give Steve a call, 888-TAX-DEAL or MoskowitzLLP.com. That's 888-TAX-DEAL or MoskowitzLLP.com. Thanks, Steve, so much. We appreciate you so much. Thanks. Yeah, so give him a call. There's only a couple more days. And again, there are things that you could probably do right now that's going to help you. Your future self will give you a big fat thank you by giving Steve Moskowitz a call right now. Okay, we'll get to some of your comments in just a moment after Kim's news. Also coming up, I think Kim had mentioned it, COVID was not the top search, Google search. What does this mean? China is actually turning to kind of away from traditional medicine, not completely, but in the wake of their COVID wave, because you heard a lot of them are reducing that zero COVID policy is no more in China. How are you guys feeling? Because the sickness has not left my household. I'll have a pretty sad story coming up. I also want to touch on that crazy rant. Did you see that rant that guy did at that San Ramon In-N-Out Burger? Absolutely crazy.
Just reading that story. Maybe should take it. Should I take it out of the news?
No. We can do it in the news. So that's coming up in just a moment. So, and then Whoopi Goldberg. I swear to God, this woman, I have some advice for Whoopi Goldberg because she has stepped in it again. And I just don't understand how this keeps happening to her. There is just a simple thing that Whoopi Goldberg needs to say. I'll tell you what I think that is right after Kim's news.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
And this report is sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz at 888-TAX-DEAL. And we begin with delays, of course, and travelers stranded at more than 7,000 flights impacted across the country. 3,000 canceled. Southwest Airlines alone canceled more than 60% of its flights today. Southwest Airlines, the worst offender yesterday, too, with the majority of cancellations in the Bay Area and across the country. San Francisco International Airport, 73 cancellations. Oakland International had 146, and San Jose International, 129. Nationwide, there were just over 3,500 cancellations. So thank you very much for the cancellations, particularly you nice folks at Southwest Airlines. Buffalo, New York may now face flooding after getting pummeled by snow. Yes, it's a historic snowstorm over the weekend. That, according to officials, Erie County, they say the Emergency Services Commissioner is concerned about what could happen. Temperatures are set to warm up this week, while the rain could begin falling on Friday. Speaking of rain, the North Bay here in the Bay Area is under a flood watch until 6 o'clock tonight. Today, our region expected to get pounded with heavy rain from the first of two storms on the way in this week. The National Weather Service is expecting as much as 4 inches of rain in 4 days in the North Bay. There should be a break tomorrow. Then we get another round of rain likely between Thursday and Sunday as well. Oh, Carrie Lake, here you are again. Governor-elect Katie Hobbs is being awarded $33,000 by an Arizona judge. The decision comes a day after the current Secretary of State filed a motion for sanctions against her Republican challenger, Kari Lake. Here's Lake side by side with Katie Hobbs. It's Hobbs' request to sanction Lake and her lawyers was turned down, but the payment for taxable costs and compensation for the
Good.
representatives that Hobbs chose to inspect ballots during the lawsuit does stand. So that's why the $33,000. Some legal fees there for the counting of ballots, but otherwise, there's no sanctions against Kari Lake.
The county had said in that filing, they're like, before a single vote was counted in the 2022 general election, Kari Lake publicly stated that she would accept the results of the gubernatorial election only if she were the winning candidate. But she has not simply failed to publicly acknowledge the election results and just keeps lying about it. Good. There needs to be more consequences for these people. I mean, lying should have more consequences. It just should.
Yeah. We need to strip the lies out of politics
Exactly.
as if that's ever possible. President Biden signing a slate of new bills to become law, among them a bill to remove a bust of Taney. This is, let's see if I go back to it, Roger B. Taney from the U.S. Capitol. Taney, of course, the Chief Justice who wrote the majority Supreme Court opinion protecting slavery in Dred Scott v. Sanford. Taney's bust will be replaced with a bust of Thurgood Marshall. And here he is. And he, of course, is the first Black Supreme Court Justice. So a bit of let's do what's right in the world coming out there. And of course, health officials from around the Bay Area are now reporting a jump in COVID cases again. They're preparing for a post-holiday surge. Cases in the Bay Area up more than 1,400 daily cases this last week alone. 42 people have died. 64 of the 68 ICU beds across San Francisco County are full with various patients. So the COVID rate's on the way back up. There's a video showing a customer making racist and homophobic comments at an East Bay In-N-Out. This video is going viral now. The TikTok video, reportedly shot Christmas Eve, had about 7 million views as of Sunday night. The victims of this bigoted behavior are two Asian customers. After being insulted, the customer can be heard saying, "See you outside in a minute." The two victims later escorted out to their car as a precaution, but the man had already left.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that was so sad about this story was, one, they were just trying to film themselves trying this new In-N-Out. It's not a new one. I guess it's, the secret menu. It's called the Flying Dutchman, which I had to Google. This is what it looks like.
Okay.
It's just 2 hamburger patties with cheese, and it looks like a whole grilled onion inside of it. They were just having some fun. They had the phone set up, and he starts saying all this crap to him. Thankfully, he's been arrested. But you know what I kept thinking? These are cases in which I want to know if that guy has a gun in his house. Not saying he was going to shoot anything up, but this is the type of behavior. Someone that will walk up to complete strangers, kids. I mean, yeah, they're probably like 19 or whatever.
And start making threats and being mean.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, who the hell are you? Oh, well, he might have a mental. I'm not trying to knock having a mental illness. You don't do this. You don't tell people I'm waiting outside. You don't tell them you're going to spit on them. You don't do any of that. And it's kind of, while on one hand, I think that if you watch the whole video, I think that, at first the guy was trying to, the guy in the video, the young guy in the video was trying to make a joke out of it. But then the guy came back and the girl's like, just stop, because of what it escalated into. This guy's threatening them. I know I say this all the time, but what the hell is wrong with people? I just don't get it. And of course, targeting them, asking, what ethnicity they are and those sorts of things. It's just, it's not right. It's absolutely
none of it's
not
okay.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if you've seen this story. I don't know if I want it back on my finger, to be honest. The Florida couple now has a Christmas memory that'll last forever. Nick Day says his wife, Shayna, came to him 21 years ago and said she lost her wedding ring after flushing it down the toilet on accident.
Oh, no.
Yes. So this episode has a storybook ending, thanks to a plumber who recently found the ring while replacing the toilet. It was stuck in the pipes under the toilet.
Okay.
I don't want it back. That's 21 years worth of flushes it's endured.
Yeah, but you gotta clean it. I mean, it looks like it's covered in like hard water scale. And
can it ever be clean enough again?
I mean, if you can get all that scale off of it to show what it is, yeah.
don't know if I want it back.
You'll be fine. What are you putting it in your mouth? Stop it.
Poop molecules floating around on that one.
It's okay.
Merry Christmas to you. This report sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz. For more than 30 years, Steve has put his tax knowledge to work for individuals and for businesses. So if you need help with your taxes, you got Steve. He's ready to help you. 888 tax deal. Moskowitz LLP. Wait, I didn't get my finger on the right spot. MoskowitzLLP.com right there. We're ready to help. He's ready to help you. And we thank him for being a founding sponsor on the Nikki Medoro Show. We couldn't have done it without him. I'm Kim McAllister on the Nikki Medoro Show.
There we go. Yes, indeed. Yeah, that a lot of you, I think they would clean the ring, Kim. They would definitely clean the ring.
What I'm trying to say is there's not enough cleaner.
Just gotta stop thinking about it. I mean, if you think about, what diamonds have to go through to even be made, the time and the pressure. I mean,
love your ring. Thank you. It's been in the toilet for 21 years.
Hey, if you could find, I'd clean that instantly. Absolutely. So it's definitely cleanable is what everybody is saying, Kim. So you should not be grossed out about it.
Hold on. 21 years worth of poop. Flushes. It's down there in the toilet in the pie. No. I'm sorry.
No,
maybe take out the stone. Maybe the stone could be cleaned, but I don't know.
But it's metal. It's metal. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just want to put up this one comment from Flo about that homophobic racist rant that guy went on. You go out to have some fun and a good meal, then a bigot comes along to ruin the day. Glad they caught him. Yeah. That guy he's just a total asshat. I'm glad that nothing terrible happened. Apparently, In-N-Out Burger employees walked them out. But you just don't need that kind of stuff. And you can ask yourself, where did things like this come from? But, one, mental illness. Two, I do think that there was this point in recent history where people felt emboldened that they could just go up to people and say whatever the hell they want to say, and it's not right. Now, I'm going to talk about Whoopi Goldberg right now. And Whoopi, I know you're not listening. I know, but I'm just going to tell you.
Maybe she is.
Maybe she's, but I hope that this message gets to you. Shut the bleep up about the Holocaust. Okay? Just don't talk about it anymore. You don't talk about, Nazis, don't talk about Jewish people. Don't talk about it anymore, because every time you do, you put yourself in trouble. Okay, so she's now facing another round of backlash about what she claims are Jewish people, the whole race, everything. Okay, so the latest comments were in an article, and I'm sorry, I can't find the article right now. Okay, so this is what she said. Oh, it was the Sunday Times. This is what it is. So the latest comments came in an interview with the Sunday Times after a reporter said that Nazis saw Jews as a race, referencing Whoopi Goldberg's earlier comments in which she claimed the Holocaust was not about race. So she says, yes, but that's the killer, isn't it? The oppressor is telling you what you are. Why are you believing them? They're Nazis. Why believe what they're saying? She went on to say it wasn't originally about race. Remember who they were killing first. They were not killing racial. They were killing physical. They were killing people they considered to be mentally defective. And then they made this decision. Then when the reporter told Whoopi Goldberg that, quote, the Nazis measured the heads and noses of Jews to prove they were a distinct race, Goldberg says they did that to Black people too. But it doesn't change the fact that you could not tell a Jew on a street, you could find me. You could not find them. That was the point I was making, but you would have thought I'd taken a big old stinky dump on the table, butt naked. That's what she's quoted as saying. Again, I don't know what it is about Whoopi Goldberg's desire, and I'm going to call it a desire, to respond or continue to explain what she means. She should just stop talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to explain what she meant. I'm not going to do any of those things. Why I'm bringing this up is there are certain beliefs there are certain angles, there are certain stances that people have that other people just don't understand. Okay. No matter how many times you try to explain what you mean, and this could be about anything, right? But in Whoopi Goldberg's case, it's the Jewish people in the Holocaust. Okay. She has a certain belief system about it that either she's not explaining well or she's just flat out wrong about. And it's just one of those things where if she doesn't want to face this backlash anymore, shut the hell up. I would, if the reporter was asking me about it, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not even touching that with a 10-foot pole. That's what I would say. We're over it. I'm not talking about it. I have my beliefs. You have your beliefs. I see it one way. You see it another way. I'm not talking about it. I've already apologized for it. I've apologized to the whole entire world about it. I'm not talking about this anymore. And that's it, period. End of story. If I was her agent, I would teach her how to say that today. Ranting teacher writes, even though I've experienced racism, I've never had the experience of people being able to distinguish that from just looking at me. The experience has to be different. Then say that, right? If Whoopi Goldberg could say that, just be like, the horrors that people of all races and ethnicities and religion have experienced can be similar, but they are not the same.
Yeah.
There we go. Because yeah.
Because for the same reason that we will never experience what Whoopi Goldberg has gone through in her life, she will not ever know what it was like to be, Jewish, or what it was like to be Jewish in the 40s in Germany, whatever.
Mhm.
Like, you don't have that knowledge. So
shut
you don't know.
up. Just shut up.
I'm sure that, there was racism against Black people in Germany at that time too. I just feel like why do we have to compare one against the other?
Right.
Why does one have to be worse? That one situation always has to be worse than the other.
It's not a competition of
No.
horrors. You know what I mean? It's not, and it shouldn't be. I mean, a crime against one, a crime against all. I mean, we can call out the crime without trying to be like, but this, but that. But that's not my point that I'm making with this story. My point is to Whoopi Goldberg. Now, on one hand, you're being interviewed. Like, it's not like, oh, I was at dinner with friends and somebody overheard me having a private conversation. You're being interviewed. Stop. I just be like, you know what? I don't even want to talk about it. Every time I do, I mean, she could even kind of defend herself, just be like, every time I do, I don't think people fully understand what I mean. And so I've already addressed it. I've already apologized for whatever. And so I don't even want to talk about it anymore. That was then. This is now. Let's talk about something else. Sometimes I think I should work in PR, Kim. I mean, just my biggest advice to people would be like, shut the hell up. Yeah. Don't say anything at all. And that's probably what most PR people say. And then nobody listens to them. They get paid for advice and then don't listen.
There's conversely the thought that, any news is good news, right? The more, your name, the more Whoopi's name is out there, the more people know her, the more famous she is. I don't know. I mean, it depends on what kind of image you want to have.
Now it'll be interesting. I don't think she's going to be canceled for this, although who the hell knows? I mean, it could get lost in the holiday season. Maybe she hopes it will be, because remember when this happened back in January, they pulled her from the show for a little bit, and then their ratings plummeted because a lot of people watch The View for Whoopi. Now, I don't watch The View, so I really don't have an opinion on this. But if I was The View producers or whatever, I'd be like, all right. I mean, let other people deal with it, but we're not pulling Whoopi Goldberg from this. I wouldn't even, again, I would tell them, don't even make it a topic on The View again. You've already done that. Like, just let it go. And Whoopi Goldberg, it does not get to have the world's opinion about the Holocaust, about Jewish people, about race, any of it. She is one person, right? One person with one opinion. You don't agree with it, and that's it. So
when she first spoke about the Holocaust, she said the genocide was not racial, but rather a form of white on white crime.
Right, because she was bringing her own experience as a Black woman, I think, into it, right? That they, like what she was saying in this recent article, they could see that I'm Black, but they can't see necessarily who is who and who is not Jewish. Now, on some people would disagree with that. But it did seem like she was making a comparison between being Black and being Jewish. Just stop.
Yeah.
Just stop. So, yeah.
Nick agrees.
Exactly. If I was her agent, I'd be like, damn it, woman, stop talking. Okay, well, I have time for this one more story. Speaking of people that should just stop talking, there is this. I gotta play you this. Do I get to share the screen? Okay, I'll play you a little bit of sound. I'm not gonna play it because last time I got a copyright hit. This is a funny story. It's something light. Okay, so it is it's a hard working time for food servers during the holidays. One, some of you are working, the whole time. I used to be a server during the holidays, especially New Year's, Christmas. People have big parties, all sorts of things. So this server has posted something on TikTok, and I am hoping that his friends pull him aside and been like, what the hell did you post this for? But alas, he's done it. So he tells this story. His name is Dean Redmond, that he was working at this restaurant on Christmas Eve, and a table of 22 people came in. And as he's putting in the order, he forgets to put in 4 sandwiches. And he was really nervous about this. Quick story. When I was a server, there are things you have to say because you've messed up. It's your fault. But you realize if I tell the person, they're going to be mad. So this one story that always sticks out to me was this couple was in and they had ordered like a half chicken. Okay. It's like a leg and it's like actually like a quarter chicken. Really good meal. Chicken takes a while. Okay. I mean, to finish. And so it's probably going to be another 15 minutes. And I forgot to put it in. And so I go to the table and I was like, I went to get your food and I looked at it and it was just way overdone. It was burnt. I'm sorry. I told the cooks they have to remake it. And they're like, oh my God, thank you. And I was like, I just can't serve that to you. So I put in a new one. I'm going to get it to you as quickly as possible. They loved it. I was a liar. I lied. I totally,
oh my God.
Totally
so what would
lied.
have been, I mean, I guess that's better blaming it on the kitchen staff that they can't see or take it out on right now. But what would have been the problem with just saying, I am so sorry. There's so much going on. I forgot to put your order in. I horribly apologize. Let me bring you this other item on the house while I get this up as quickly as possible.
Well, the on the house thing was never going to work. And 2, I had it was a couple and I had one person's meal. So I brought that meal.
Yeah.
And so obviously no one wants to eat alone, but I didn't want 2 meals so I had to bring something. So there had to be a reason and a reason that wouldn't impact my tip. And I will add for all of you judging me, the tip of the cooks. So because I split it, I give them a percentage of the tip.
Sure.
So they don't give 2 licks that I'm lying because they're not going to see these people.
Your
right?
lies were on behalf of the entire team. Is that right? Okay.
I'm nothing but honest on this show. Okay. So I told a lie. They were very fine with it. I brought them their chicken. It was delicious. It was great. It was fun. No harm, no foul. Okay. This is harm and foul because this guy, now this was years ago. The restaurant I worked at it's not even there anymore. So there could be no consequence for me. I imagine for this server that forgot 4 sandwiches and they're sandwiches. I mean, how long could it have made? I don't know what kind of sandwiches they were, but listen to what he says. He told them that basically there was a tragic reason why the sandwiches were late. Now, I forgot to set up this point. Because the party was so big, I guess they had to go down these stairs that were icy. So maybe there was an outdoor to an indoor area. And some of the members of the party almost slipped on the stairs. Oh. Okay. So this server goes up to the table of 22 and says, I'm so sorry. As this woman was bringing down those sandwiches, she slipped and she fell and hit her head on the stairs and had to be taken to the hospital.
Too big of a lie.
Okay, so he tells him that. And so then this is him finishing the story because obviously sandwiches didn't take that long. And then listen to this.
Meanwhile, it was literally only 4 things that had to be made. They're like, any updates on her? I'm like, she's currently in the ICU. They're like, the ICU? I didn't know what that meant. I just thought that was a hospital term. Turns out it's critical care unit. So then I had to keep up that she literally had like a brain bleed. They came back later on with this note.
God.
Dear staff, please do not stress. Things happen. We hope she is okay. Girlie, she's fine. I'm not going to be fine after the karma catches up to me. And I didn't give anyone else at the place any of this tip because
the tip was $500. So keep listening.
They would expose me and tell the boss. So I'm keeping $500 in cash. That's probably supposed to go to this girl who's in the ICU. Thank you, Paul and Sue.
So because the table was so horrified that this poor made up girl, I mean, she existed, but she didn't, slipped, fell, got a brain bleed, a fake story. They probably rallied their money. They were probably like, hey, anyone want to throw in some more money? $500 tip. And then he doesn't even share it. See, I shared my tip. I shared my lie. Like, I still got tipped. I still got a decent tip.
So
the cooks got it. I got it. Everything.
If he does put the $500 in the bowl, in the shared bowl,
right,
then everyone knows he lied and made up this horrible story, and he could get in trouble with management, right?
Right. That's what he's thinking, that they're going to knock him out. But I'm saying,
So
I don't think that would happen. No, I don't think that would have happened. I don't think that would have happened at all. You don't tell them while the party is still there. Okay. You tell them when you have to clock out and you have to give your money. Right.
I don't know.
And then you're like, okay, everybody, it's kind of a Christmas miracle. Or you don't, but you still share the friggin' cash. It's like, oh my God.
We got a big tip today.
This was a generous tip. I bet you he felt guilty for coming in without a reservation for a party of 22.
I am never going to believe anything the wait staff tells me ever again. I'm like, is that a Nikki lie or is that true?
Dude, just, yeah. I mean,
where did
they're
this
eating
happen?
the French
Let's go
fries
look
off
at
your
the blood
plate.
on the stairs.
No, I am telling you, I'm just being honest. And it wasn't that bad of a lie. It's not like I said somebody had a brain bleed and went to the ICU. I just said, hey, the chicken was a little overdone. It looked a little burnt. It wasn't good. The quality wasn't there, people. I wanted to help you out. So, but yeah, that server, I can only imagine, is going to lose his job.
I think
Shut
so.
the hell
It's
up.
another STFU, pal, and you're still working and the place is still open. And the people could see that and recognize what you told them.
I would have gone back to the restaurant. I would have hands down go back to the restaurant and be
I
like,
want my $500 back.
I want my $500 back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. It is. I mean, mine wasn't that bad. Come on. All right. Thank you for everyone for joining us today. Please, before the show ends, click that thumbs up. We absolutely love it. Again, you can join our exclusive. It's not exclusive. Anybody can join, but it's really cool.
How far does your thumb go back? Is it straight up and down one? My kids call my thumb the super thumb because they say it goes back really far.
I don't think that's. Yeah, it looks like yours.
Yeah, I think it does. Okay. Sorry,
Click
just comparing the thumbs
up. Is it
up.
supposed to be like this? Click that thumbs up button, whatever way it looks. It helps us out. Donate to our Patreon at theNikkiMedoroShow.com. There's a couple videos up that are only for Patreon members. If you make the recipe I just posted on Christmas, please let me know how it turned out. If you want to donate by PayPal, the website or the email is theNikkiMedoroShow@gmail.com. And of course, everybody in the super chat has been generous today. Big shout out to Beth Farmer with a $20 super chat. Stan, our CPA, with $20 in our super chat, super live feature in the comments. We love all of you so very much. I will see you tomorrow. I'm sure some sort of Republican nonsense will be happening. Let me know on Facebook, on Twitter, any of them. If you buy any of this merchandise that you can get at theNikkiMedoroShop.com, send those pictures in, and we will of course post them on the show. And I appreciate everybody for buying it and supporting the show. Love you. Bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You're proud, like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.